Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to Rocket League News. This is the series where we talk about everything that happened the last week in Rocket League. And before we start this video, as always, if you guys do enjoy, make sure you guys hit subscribe. Subscribing is the #1 way to support the channel. If you guys also enjoy, you guys can follow me on Twitter. I post just a bunch of new stuff on my Twitter. Please leave a like on the video, and yeah, let's get right into the news. So first up, we have Lethamyr, and Lethamyr calls out Mr. Beast. Yeah, Mr. Beast, the giant YouTuber who just spends crazy amounts of money. Okay, Lethamyr tweets, "I hereby challenge Mr. Beast to a game of Rocket League 1v1. If he could defeat me with his own two hands on his controller, I'll pay him $10 million. Mr. Beast actually then responded and said, "Send me a contract and I'll do it." So will there be a Lethamyr versus Mr. Beast? Who knows? Honestly, if I had to give my opinion, I'd say perhaps not, because Mr. Beast, when he replied, he kind of said something funny. He didn't say, "Sure, I'd love to do it." I don't know. Just from reading Mr. Beast's tweet, it doesn't sound like to me that, he's all that down for it. But, you never know. Maybe they're talking in DMs behind the scenes. You never know. So this is definitely something that could be happening. I'm sure every single person watching this knows who Mr. Beast is. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't know who he is at this point. But, yeah, it would be really, really awesome if Mr. Beast ended up playing Rocket League with Lethamyr, 1v1ing him. That would be awesome. I don't think Lethamyr actually has $10 million. If Lethamyr for some reason does has $10 million, he just is willing to throw away on a bet. Lethamyr, can you please DM me on Twitter? I'd love to get in on whatever it is that makes you so much money. One thing that I love that's been coming from this is the memes. A lot of people are saying, well, Lethamyr said that Mr. Beast's two hands just had to be on the controller, so a lot of people are saying they could play for Mr. Beast. He just has to have his two hands on the controller. Just a lot of people memeing this as well. Just a lot of funny stuff coming from this. But yeah, let's get right into the next news. And next up, we have, this is just something that's been happening to a lot of people. So as you guys know, Psyonix made some changes to their banning system. Now game bans are a lot more frequent, and you can get banned for a lot lesser of an offense. The main thing that they want to do is stop racism and other forms of toxicity, which that's respectable. I understand it, but the problem is it doesn't work. A lot of people as of recently have been just getting banned for no reason. A lot of my personal friends, I know a lot of people who have DM'd me on Twitter, just a ton of people are just getting banned for what they claim. They say they said nothing. I know for a fact a few people I personally know who really did say nothing and still got banned. So it seems like what's happening is that their system, the Rocket League system, and I don't know this is just my theory, that the Rocket League system is just looking for specific words, but it's taking those words out of context. So even though you could be using specific words in a, family-friendly sentence, it still takes those words and maybe views them out of context. Like, let's say maybe you have the word hate in your sentence, even though there's plenty of sentences with those words that are family friendly, that aren't racist, that aren't mean, aren't not toxic. I think that the bot is not doing a good job at understanding what's family friendly and what's toxic, what deserves a game ban. So now, it is worth mentioning that you can't just take what everyone says at their word. However, as of the recent update, I've just seen just such an influx of people claiming they've been falsely banned. And in fact, I've even personally seen it happen, like with one of my close friends. So we know that there is some sort of an issue going on here. How big is the issue? Is it like a huge problem? I don't know. I just know that there are indeed some people out there getting banned for things that they might not have done. I've just gotten a ton of DMs about this. It seems like there needs to be an update to their system very soon. And, I hope everyone who has been getting banned is going to get unbanned very soon. It's a problem that I'm sure will not persist for long. And yeah. And then let's get right into the next news. And Liquipedia just released their top 20 for most impactful player pages for all of their wikis. So as you know, Liquipedia does a lot more than just Rocket League. They've got a ton of esports on Liquipedia. And the #1 most impactful player page was Squishy Muffins. Okay, so props to Squishy, and there are also players like Scrubkilla, Justin, K-Dot, Barizzo. I'm actually surprised that a couple people who I thought would be on it aren't on it. I was expecting to actually see a player like Astral on there, not even just because he's an extremely popular Rocket League player, but because he's gotten so much more attention as of recently, whether or not that be with people calling him toxic or just him hitting just insane shots in RLCS. Astral's gotten a lot of attention recently. I assumed that he actually would be on it, which he's not, so it was very interesting. And then there's a lot of other fan favorites, such as Kronovi, that originally I might have guessed would be on here, but they're not. But yeah, this is the list. The list for most part makes sense. I think it's just really cool to see just the impact that these guys have on Liquipedia, to see which guys really are the most popular, just to see who's being looked up the most, whose page is being visited the most, I think it's just pretty cool. And yeah, that's all for that. And I'll put up on screen so you guys can see the full list. But yeah, let's get right into the next news. And next up we have Team BDS, and Team BDS, they get Extra on their team. So a lot of people over this offseason have been wondering what's going to happen to Extra, because a lot of people, they think very highly of Extra. He actually performed decently well in RLCS last season, very talented player. And you know what? He's on a team, and we're going to see just for next season how he does, okay? So yeah, that's basically everything that happened with Extra. He's on BDS now. And then let's get into the next news. Next up in the news, we have the Kansas City Pioneers. And Kansas City Pioneers announced the acquisition of Flight. All right, with the roster of Rapid, Seabass, and Beast Mode, Kansas City Pioneers announced their entrance into Rocket League Esports, and this is going to be their team for the next season of RLCS. And for those of you guys who don't know, Flight was the team who got auto-demoted to RLRS last season at the end of RLCS. They were a North American team. The roster consisted of Rapid, Seabass, and Memory at the time. Now they've picked up Beast Mode, and yeah, we'll see how they do in RLCS Season 10 next season. And next up in the news, we have this article from Esports Insider, and Esports Insider did an interview with Psyonix talking about just RLCS shifting to the event circuit and then getting some feedback from the teams. I mean, that's the title of the article. And, there's a lot of interesting stuff. So anybody looking to know maybe just a little bit more behind the scenes of, the shift to this new format. Again, for those of you who don't know, I mentioned this a lot. RLCS is a completely new format. You guys could check out some of my other videos on it. I go over the whole format. A lot of Q&A with Psyonix, and what I think something that's just very interesting that comes from this article is a lot of people assumed that this format change is because, all the esports organizations were complaining about certain things that were going on in Psyonix, like lack of communication, monetization options. And a lot of people assumed that Psyonix quickly rushed out this new format, but it looks like they've actually been planning this for years now, it sounds like. Perhaps this whole thing with the esports org's letter to Psyonix maybe pushed that process along a little bit faster, right? Maybe they had originally planned for it maybe not to come out for a little bit longer, this format, but I just think there's a lot of very interesting stuff in this article, a lot of stuff in, kind of like that behind the scenes. And yeah, definitely something worth checking out if you're a fan of the new format, if you just want to know more. So yeah. And then last but not least, we have the Salt Mine 2, and we're going to talk about how it ended. I've done recaps on my channel going more in depth, but this is going to be, just kind of a quick recap, just to let you guys know exactly what happened. So the finals happened. I'll quickly go over Europe. Okay, the finals ended up being Ocalid versus Jorias, and Jorias takes on Ocalid in a very, very close matchup. It's a very good match to watch. It's just the two best 1v1 players in the world right now, duking it out in a very, very intense series. Okay, ton of 1-goal games in there. 100% worth checking out. And then we get into North America, and the grand finals ended up being First Killer versus Mile. And man, all I gotta say is First Killer dominates his region. Okay, North America, First Killer is undoubtedly the #1 1v1 player in this specific region. Okay, he's just a madman, and that is pretty much how the Salt Mine ended, with First Killer and Jorias taking it all for their regions. Also, one last thing is that Rocket Baguette's Summer Grand Prix is actually starting in just a few days. If you want to see just some of the best teams in Europe duke it out in 3v3, and you could watch that. I know a lot of people are interested in actually seeing Team Liquid play, even though it is basically the same team as last season in RLCS. I mean, it's just a whole new feel, a whole new dynamic to the game now that Team Liquid is in. It's really awesome. But yeah, that is basically everything. I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about, everything I wanted to go over. Thank you guys all for watching. RLCS Season 10 is just around the corner, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be covering everything RLCS related on this channel, so don't go anywhere. Okay, thank you guys all for watching. If you do enjoy, hit subscribe, leave a like on the video. Leaving a like just helps promote my videos to more people, and I thank everybody who subscribes, who likes. You don't have to do all that. Honestly, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't care all that much if you guys sub. Like, really, what I like most is having this as a platform to talk to you guys. You guys will DM me on Twitter, talk to me in the comments section of my videos. I love talking to you guys. That's truly my favorite thing about YouTube. But yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to say. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.